Hi everybody, Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins. So today's another play-along video, but today we're going to do some viola content. So I'm going to be covering the second movement of the Telemann Viola Concerto. I've been getting some requests lately for some viola content, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm not going to just play the whole thing through. I'm just going to play a piece at a time and then talk about each piece as we go for time. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, so that's the first page. Okay, so let's talk about a few things about this particular page. So we are in common time, right? That big C, so that means 4/4, right? So we've got 4 beats in a measure, quarter note gets a beat. We have 1 sharp, right? F sharp, that means that we are in G major, okay? Pretty simple key. So let's talk about our articulation a little bit. So as a general rule, you will want to be in the fatty, squishy part of your bow, which is like in the middle, right? So this is just a basic détaché stroke. Right? So we don't want to work too hard. So don't be at the frog, don't be at the tip, be in the middle of the bow, and if you have some flexibility in your right hand, try to use that flexibility. Allow your instrument to ring instead of trying to force your sound out with big giant bow strokes. So if you have really good bow contact, right, how your hair is contacting the string and you're, pretty much in between the fingerboard and your bridge, right, then you don't really need to exert a lot of pressure to get a good amount of sound. And when you're playing these 16th notes, well, all of them really, stay in the string, play in the string, right? You want to avoid this. Or if you're playing it slower, right? It's just in the string, right? And you can really feel it right here with your index finger, right? So you really want to get that stroke correct. Doesn't take a lot of pressure. Just have a really focused sound and keep that bow in the string. And listen to the quality of your sound. Right? Doesn't take a lot of effort if you get the right stroke. Okay, so now we have these bowings, right, which are kind of interesting. Remember, I'm playing out of the Suzuki Book 4, right? This is the last concerto of Suzuki Book 4. So the bowings that I'm using are the ones that are in the Suzuki. So okay, so the bowing can seem a little tricky at first, I suppose. The strategy that you want to use for being successful at this is, of course, number 1, practice it slowly, okay? Number 2, make sure you're in the right part of the bow. So don't be at the tip, because then you're going to have to move your handle around a lot. It's very inefficient. You don't want to be at the frog. That's going to be nearly impossible. So again, you want to be in the middle of the bow, right? And then you want to have a really relaxed bow arm. If your bow arm is stiff, you're not going to be able to do it. So you really want to have a relaxed shoulder, right? Don't raise your shoulder up, right? Keep it down, keep that elbow nice and relaxed, and utilize this movement right here. So allow your wrist to go up and down. If your wrist is locked, then you're going to be going like this. So you got to have that flexible wrist to... So if you want to practice the stroke a little bit, simply do open strings, right? This is an old trick, right? You're just going to be going from the G to the D. And try just to use mostly your wrist. Try not to involve your whole arm. Right? Then you'll kind of learn that flexibility, and then your movement will be more efficient. Okay, so I could spend a whole lesson on that, but we won't. We will move on. Okay, so dynamics, we have a piano, right? So the suggestion I would have to set up these pianos is to set that up on the last grouping of 16th notes. So for example, we have a forte, so it's last measure, second line, right? We have forte. That note right there, that's where you release the weight of your arm, and then you come down piano. So you can practice it slowly. Release. Right? So that's where you want to set up that release, so when you come down with that piano, you are in control of your bow. Release. Now we have a crescendo. So the important thing with this crescendo is you want to utilize those tied notes to increase the volume. So, right? But no matter what you do with those tied notes, make sure you end up, you're still in the middle of the bow. You're still pretty much utilizing the middle of the bow. Don't get stuck at the tip. Don't get stuck at the frog. So, now here to the frog. So the way you want to practice these double stops is, of course, 2 and 2, right? You can just do stop, place your fingers, or 2 bows. Kind of depends on how hard this is for you, but at the very least, stop your bow. So move, pull. Make sure your fingers are placed first. Then you speed it up. Okay, so that's about it for the double stops. Well, actually, I'll mention one more thing about the double stops. If you're having a lot of difficulty with these double stops, in fact, the next one's a little harder, right? Right? My suggestion is practice them like this. So, so you place that lower finger first and then build the double stop on top of it. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, then 2, 3, 2, 3. Now, that fifth can be a little bit nasty. So the way you get that fifth in tune is you have to make sure that the angle of your finger, that index finger, is just right. And you're in just the right spot of the pad of your finger. Now, everybody's got different fingers. Everybody's got different shape of their pad and everything else. So you just have to practice and find just the right angle. You have to find just the right angle and just the right part of the pad of the tip of your finger to get that fifth in tune. But once you're pretty confident you can do it, then high 2. Then you speed it up. Okay, So double stops, especially in this movement, just break them down like that. Okay, so moving on. Okay, and also when you have to start, you know, right, fourth line, second measure in, make sure again you start in the middle of the bow. Know where you are. And if you can start with your bow stopped, that would be best. So instead of, it's, you know, put your bow in, put the weight in, because in the beginning of your note is nice and crisp. Instead of, it's, and remember, play into the string. Keep the weight in the string. Okay, then we have our section at the end, right? Okay, so the second line from the bottom, first measure, I'm just playing a low 2. So the way that I practice this is I break it because it can be a little bit confusing with that first finger because it is a D sharp with that low 1. Then it's a B natural. Your first finger is going to be a half a step higher. So I suggest organizing it in your mind without the slur first. So then right? That's how you want to organize it. So practice it like that. Then it'll be organized that way in your mind so your first finger doesn't get confused. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that particular section. Okay, so moving on to the second page. Okay, so that's the first half of the second page. Okay, so this page can be a little bit troublesome for pitch. So here's a little bit of my strategy for getting your pitch improved or better or awesome. Okay, so the first line that we have then, right? So we have that 4-3. Then we have that high 3, high 2, low 2, regular natural 1, right? So my suggestion is to make sure you keep the frame in your hand and really keep track of the low fingers on your left hand. So what do I mean? So keep that first finger down, stretch for the 4, right? Then play that 3. So the 3 and the 4 right here are based off of that first finger. You feel that stretch? You want to teach yourself that stretch. Get used to that stretch. How do you do that? By keeping that first finger down. That's how you're going to have more consistent intonation. Keep down, stretch. Keep the 3 down. Stretch for that 3. Touch the 1. Okay, I'll do that one more time. Keep that 1 down, stretch for the 4. Keep the 2 down, stretch for the 3. Now keep your 1 down and touch the 1 with your 2. Okay, so going on, make sure you stop your bow. And then release, then place. right? So, not, no, stop the bow. So, same thing. Okay, so then going on, we have our 16th runs. Again, start in the middle of the bow, start from the string, right? So not, no. Right? Little bows and get the pressure just right. And again, from the string, in the middle of the bow. Okay, so you want to keep your fingers down. Again, right? Keep those fingers down. Don't do that. You'll never be in tune. So okay, so let's play the next section. Okay, so there's that section. Let's talk about that section. Okay, so there's not much new in this section. It's kind of the same stuff that I just told you about. You want to keep certain fingers down to assist with your pitch. Okay, so for example, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line down first measure. Pretty easy. Keep that first finger down. That's the base of your hand. That's the foundation of your frame. Then now keep that second finger, that low second finger, keep it down when you play the fourth finger. That stretch, you need to practice that stretch, memorize that stretch. That's going to help with your pitch. Keep the first finger down. Then next one, keep your first finger down. Okay, one thing I want to point out. So in that first measure there, so this third finger is a natural third finger. Your fourth finger is a natural fourth finger. And look at the gap between those two fingers. It's a whole step, right? So when you're practicing this, you can check to make sure you're in tune. Okay, that's a whole step. Make sure you know that's a whole step. Now when we go to third position, now our third finger is raised and it's a half step to fourth finger. Right? So know that when you put that third finger down, it's going to be a half step to four. So the relationship's changed. Okay, then it goes on, it's short. Release piano. Okay, so let's talk about the very last section. Okay, so I do a specific fingering in here. You can use whatever finger you want, but here's the fingering that I suggest. Okay, so we go into third position. So third position, whole step to 3, whole step to 2. Then I go to second position, first finger, half step to 2. First position, I'll do that again. So, whole step to 3. Right, you want to check that. Whole step to 2. Now we shift to second position, first finger. Half step to 2. First position, first finger. And that's about it. So, overall, you really want to pay a lot of attention to keeping certain fingers down for your pitch. You want to practice it slow, and you want to make sure your stroke is correct. Stay in the middle of the bow and try not to work too hard. So that's my suggestions for this particular movement. I hope that helps for any violists out there who may be interested in learning this. I do plan on covering the 3rd and 4th movement as well. So, and if you want me to, or any other viola pieces, let me know. Put it in the comments. I do a lot of this stuff because you guys asked. So with that, I hope you have a good time practicing and have a great day.